why do we use supplier evaluation? So what is the meaning of evaluation, first of all?
I mean, to choose the suppliers, parameters to choose the supplier.
Sorry?
Uh, so parameters to choose a supplier, whether he can, first of all, feasibility, whether he can deliver on time,
Okay. Any more answers?
capacity.
It's validating supplier performance.
Yeah. So validating supplier performance, evaluating the supplier history. So that is a part of supplier evaluation. So supplier evaluation is not new for S/4HANA. This was also there in ECC, but in ECC we used to use it as a vendor evaluation, and it has been renamed as supplier evaluation in S/4HANA. Compared to ECC and S4, they have enhanced some functionalities in supplier evaluation. Now in ECC we used to use the supplier evaluation in GUI. In S/4HANA we'll be using the supplier evaluation in the Fury. Okay, so what this supplier evaluation is going to do, it is going to grade your suppliers. It is going to grade your suppliers. Okay, so what is the supplier performance? How are we going to analyze the supplier? And what criteria are we going to analyze the supplier? If supplier is doing good, providing a good performance, in what all aspects is he providing? On what all criteria is he providing a good performance? And in which criteria he is failing to provide this performance? Now this performance is rated in the grade manner. So the system grade will explain you what is the supplier performance. If supplier performance is not built, we can discontinue him. So you can set the system saying that the target score of the supplier evaluation can be 100%. And or if you're keeping the supplier evaluation target as 70%, if supplier is performing 70% well, then system will not tell you he's not performing well. So that is completely based on the calculation set, calculation score or calculation level, what you set. So for some criteria, so supplier evaluation can be evaluated in different criteria. One is the price, one is the quantity, one is the quality, time, and the questionnaires. So these are the criteria which supplier can be evaluated. When I say price, for example, I'm placing a purchase order for 100 rupees and supplier is delivering the product for 120 rupees. In this case, there is a variance of 20 rupees. So this is a performance issue. Initially, we agreed that we will be placing a purchase order for 100 rupees. And if the market price has been increased, then he should let us know so we can revise the PO and send it for 120, and he can send the invoice for 120. But supplier has not informed us the material price has been increased. The PO price is still 100 and he's sending us an invoice of 120 rupees. In that case, that is a supplier evaluation issue. Quantity. PO is raised for 10 pieces. He confirmed. He order confirmed that he'll be sending 10 pieces, but he sent only 8 pieces. Or he has sent 12 pieces. Sorry, 8. In both the cases, supplier performance will get damaged. In the same way, quality, if it is getting failed in QM, then it is an issue. He confirmed that he'll be sending on 28th of July, but he's sending on 30th of July. That is also an issue. So for all these criteria, what we discussed till now, system is going to calculate the calculation automatically. You don't want to do anything. The only thing what we need to do is we need to figure out which criteria is applicable for which supplier, and what is the weightage of that criteria. So I want to give For price, I'll give more preference. So I'll give 30%. For quantity, I'll give 30%. For time, I'll give 20%. For quality, I'll give 20%. I'll give weightage saying that for me, the price and quantity is more important compared to quality and time. So if you add everything, it should always be 100%. So you can give the weightage for each and every criteria saying that this is very important for me. Okay, and the calculation, you are giving the criteria first, and you are telling that if supplier is performing low, for example, if I'm telling that if the variance of this is 20%, then the score should be 80. If the variance is 30%, then the score should be 70. So this is what you can set. You can set in system saying that what is the weightage of the criteria and what is the score you should get if the variance is this much percentage. Only this is in our hand. Apart from this, the calculation, everything is done by the system on its automatically. Here, there is no scope of consultant more in supplier evaluation. We have only 2 to 3 steps as consultant. Remaining everything can be done by the buyers on their own. Okay. And in supplier evaluation, we have 2 types of supplier evaluation. Before that, let me also cover this criteria. I missed to cover this criteria. So questionnaires. So what are questionnaires? Questionnaires are nothing but if you want to ask some questions to the business or to the suppliers, you can create the questionnaires. This is done manually. This everything is done automatically, but this is done completely manually, 100% manual. If you want to ask some questions to business or you want to ask some questions to suppliers, you need to create the questions. You need to define the period from which period to which period they want to answer. And then they're going to answer and send you back. So that is questionnaires. Let me take a quick pause here if you have any questions till now regarding the criteria, regarding supplier evaluation definition, and how are we going to set the scores.
Can you please give some example for questionnaires, Venkatesh?
Yeah, I'll create those in system so you will have some idea.
Okay.
Because all these criteria I'll not be able to create because these are all automated, but this I can create in system so you will have some idea there. Like asking question to business or sorry, asking question to supplier is nothing but will supplier provide the order confirmation? Or for example, take that you're onboarding a supplier. When you're onboarding a supplier, you will have some questions. Will supplier take responsibility on the transportation? Will supplier send the order confirmation? Is supplier registered in ISO? We can ask supplier to send us ISO certificate or the VAT registration certificate so that he can fill those, attach the certificate and send us back. So we will receive the information through SAP instead of email. So that is questionnaires. Any questions? Okay. No questions. Then let's discuss what are the two types of supplier evaluation we have in system. Types of supplier evaluation. We have two types. One is purchasing category, and we have logistic execution. So we have two types of supplier evaluation. One is the purchasing category, and one is the logistic execution or logistic information. So what is the difference? So first difference between purchasing category and the logistics information or logistic execution is here in the purchasing category, scores of suppliers are at client level. The scores which are defined for the suppliers are at client level. Okay, but coming to logistic execution, the scores are at purchase org level. Scores are at purchase org level. Then the second difference is the criteria. We discussed that there is a criteria of quality, quantity, time, price, then the questionnaires. These are the criteria what we have in purchasing category. But in logistic execution, we have more criteria compared to the logistic execution. We have quality, we have quantity, we have time, price, services, invoice, and questionnaires. Okay. Then the third difference is the scores are available automatically. Based on real-time data. Here, scores need to be entered manually. Scores need to be entered manually. Here, buyer cannot see the scores. Here, buyers can see a score. So these are the differences. So now let's discuss what is the advantage and what is the disadvantage. In purchasing category, the scores are at the client level. In logistic execution, scores are at purchase org level. So business will prefer to have the scores at client level because suppliers are being handled by reference purchase org at the client level. So this is preferred. Coming to the second point, criteria. Here in purchasing category, you have only 5 criteria. In logistic execution, you have 7 criteria. So here this is preferred. Then the third point, scores are available automatically as per real-time data. Here the scores need to be entered manually. The person cannot go and enter the scores manually every time. So this is preferred. Here buyer cannot see the scores because buyer are the responsible suppliers. Buyers are onboarding the suppliers. If they are able to see the score, then they can warn supplier saying that your performance is going low, now perform well. That is data manipulated. So if buyers cannot see the score, that is more preferred in supplier evaluation. So this is preferred. So in this, 3 points are preferred for purchasing category. Only 1 point is preferred for criteria. So business will always go with the purchasing category. So supplier evaluation is preferred to be set at purchasing category level. Okay. Now, there are only 3 steps of configuration what we can do in SAP for supplier evaluation. If I show those, I'll go to SPRO, I'll reference IMG. In the reference IMG, material management, purchasing, here you will see somewhere supplier evaluation. Here, supplier evaluation. We are going to maintain the supplier evaluation based on the purchasing category. So we will use only this step. So first thing is the criteria. What is the criteria you are going to use? Are we going to use all 5 criteria, or are we going to use only 4 criteria or 3 criteria? For example, if there is no quality inspection in business, they can exclude this. If there is a quality inspection there in their business, if there is a QM module in their business, then they can include this also. So as of now, we will be using inspection lot, quantity, time, price, questionnaires. If you don't want to use inspection lot, you can remove this also. You can only use this, but you're not supposed to save this. But system should always prefer the score to be 100%. So now you are only giving 80%. So it is preferred to increase the score to 30% from here. So 30 plus 60 is 100.
Client screen, I think it is still on the
Active, right? Okay. So as of now, I have kept only these 4 criteria as active, and I have given 20% for this.
Venkatesh, the SAP screen is not visible. Only the PPT screen is visible.
Okay. Sorry. Let me reshare it then. Let me know if you can see. I'll start from beginning.
Yes, I can see it now.
Yeah. So SAP supplier evaluation configuration is going to be there in material management. So I'll open material management. Under purchasing, I'll find supplier evaluation in this list. So it is here. So we will be using the purchasing category here. We will not be using the logistics execution. So we'll be only doing the configuration of these 3 steps. These 3. So first thing is determine the criteria. So here we have different types of criteria here. As we don't have the quality inspection in this project, for example, I'm excluding the inspection lot and the quality notification. I'm only going to use these 4 criteria: quantity, time, price, and questionnaires. If I want to use the quality also, if I have a quality in my business, then I'll active both these 4 also and divide the weightage based on the business requirement. So as of now, I'm deactivating this and saving it. This is the first thing. And then you can set the score. While setting the score, you can set the score based on each. For example, quantity. If there is 0% of variance, the quantity which he confirmed is 10 pieces and he's delivering 10 pieces, then there is no variance, 0% of variance. Then the score is 100. If there is a variance of 2%, then the score will be 95. If the variance is 4%, then it is 85. 10%, 80%. 80 score is 80. So in this way, you can have multiple entries. There is no limit of the entries. And these entries are not mandatory for the consultant. Even the end user can do the scoring in the Fury directly. This is just an optional for us. Okay. Then, which supplier evaluation are we using? Are we using purchasing category? If you're using purchasing category, then enable this. If you don't enable this, then system will defaultly take it as logistic execution. Okay. So let's enable this and see. Now, only these 3 steps are applicable for the consultants, and remaining all the functions which are there in SAP will be done by the end users. So as I mentioned, we decided the score, we decided the criteria. And in the criteria, time, quantity, quality, and the price, everything is automated. You don't want to do anything. So if I want to see the report, let me open the Fury. I'll open the Fury and log into Fury. Supplier evaluation is going to completely taken care in Fury. Okay, so I go to App Finder. In the App Finder, in the search catalog, just type supplier evaluation. You'll be able to see all the applications related to supplier evaluation. So I start searching for once again, very bit slow. I've put supplier evaluation and so these are the wherever you see analytics. Analytics are nothing but your report. You will be able to see the reports. So if you want the end user to update the score, he can update the score here, the weightage and score. If you open this app, he can update the score here also. He can update the weightage also here. So I have given 20% to quantity, 20% to time, 20% to price, and 30% to questionnaires. If he want to change scores, he can change the scores here. I click on edit, and if he is giving 100% of variance, then what is the score? If he is giving 10% of variance, what is the score? He can change it over here also. There is no restriction for the buyer in the scores. Okay. Now, based on this scores, the reports gets decided. For example, time. So supplier is saying that he will deliver the material on this time, but he has not delivered on time. So all the purchase orders, which is placed for all the suppliers, will get listed down here. It will also show who is performing well. It will also show who is not performing well. So that is the report here. This is for time, this is for quantity, this is for quality, and this is for price. Okay, once again, the report is getting opened. Okay, there is no access for the app. If you find an option, an error like this, UI component navigate internet information ID. That means there is no access for the app. So let me check that once. If you get this error, you are going to reach out to the basis because they are the owners of this role assignment. Let me check for the role. Let me share that also here. So whenever you get that error, what basis will do is they will go to the Fury library. In the Fury library, how you go to Play Store and download the app, in the same way, you come to the Fury library and take the app ID and assign to your user. Normally, this will be done by the basis team. So if you find this error in the real time, so you need to inform your basis team. So collapse. So type the app name here. Supplier evaluation by time. So here we are using 2021, which is the latest version of Fury. Scroll down, go to the implementation information, configuration, and the configuration. And you will see business roles. These are the business roles. So take this role and assign to your user. Okay, and the next one also. Completely not copied. Okay, and I'm saving it. When you add the roles, you need to close Fury completely and reopen it. Only then the roles which are added to your account or to your user will be applicable. Okay, it got loaded. Let me open the app finder and let me see if I have the access. I should have the access normally. If I don't have the access, then I need to reach out to the basis team. So supplier management time. So I click on this. That is still taking some time. Let me wait. Okay, now you have the access. So system is loading for the data. So I've opened the app called Supplier Evaluation by Time. So this application will give the data in an Excel format as well as in the graphical format. When I say graphical, in a pie chart or a bar graph, you can select whatever chart you need. You don't want to extract the data in Excel and do the pivot tables and put a pie chart for the presentations. You can directly take the data from here and put it in your presentation and present to your business. So your data got loaded here. Better than seeing this graphical view, we can see the Excel view here. In the Excel, you will be able to see which supplier, how many POs have they delivered, and what is the delivery score, and what is the variance. Now, if you want to see in detail, so I go to settings here, add the purchase orders. So I want to see the purchase order. I want to see when the delivery date was there and when the goods receipt has been happened. And okay, it is getting refreshed. Now you can see the data based on the purchase order level. So go to Excel. So now here you can see it is refreshing. So here, this is the purchase order. We requested the delivery date on 29th of June, but the GR has happened on 22nd of June. So he has delivered 7 days early. So it is 7 days early. So his score is 95. This purchase order was requested on 30th of June. He has delivered on 30th of June. 100% is a score. So let me now find some data which is having plus. I requested on one date, but it has been delivered on more compared to the requested date. Here. So I have requested the material on 16th of May, but he has delivered on 29th of May. So he is late of 13 days. So he is getting a score of 60. So based on the score you set, based on the scoring, I showed you how to set the score. So if this is the percentage of variance, then what is the score you should get? So if you set the scoring accordingly in your scoring app, then based on the values you get here, the score will get allotted automatically. This is applies for time, quantity, quality, and the price for everything. Apart from questionnaires. For questionnaires, we need to create that manually. Any questions?
Venkatesh, since late is considered as a negative, if he suppose if he delivers before, will that be considered as an advantage or disadvantage for him?
That is decide the business. So business can decide that. If they get the material early compared to the requested date, if that is okay, then they will keep it as 100%. You can directly go to the scoring sheet and maintain the value -12 is nothing but 100%. So this will get updated. So if business don't want to receive the material before or after requested delivery date, they want only on the particular date, then the score will be set accordingly. These scores are coming from the configuration which I showed. Any questions? Okay. If no questions, then I'll move to the questionnaires. For questionnaires, as I mentioned, we need to create everything manually. So we have set of questions. Sorry, we have set of apps which we need to remember for the questionnaires. Let me list down here. My presentation is visible, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes. For supplier evaluation questionnaires, we have some apps. So first thing is the manage purchasing categories. So what we do here, we need to manage which supplier is going to fall under which purchasing category. Second thing is supplier score and weightage that we have already seen. Then we need to create the questions. Then we have the manage questionnaires. Questionnaires are nothing but question bank. So we create the questions individually, and then we combine all the questions into one questionnaires. Okay. Then we have the manage template. Template is going to decide who is the owner of the questions and who is the evaluator of the questions. Based on the template, the evaluation will go to the specific ID that is evaluate suppliers. Then in evaluate suppliers, you can go and enter all the scores, and that will display in a scorecard. You can also see the scorecard. And if you want to monitor the supplier, you can monitor the response. So these are the apps. So currently what we need to teach the end user is how can we create this, how can we use these apps? So this is not a big thing. So you can directly go to categories, enter the supplier. Score we already seen. Creating questions is simple. So let's complete this 5 steps now. I'll go to SAP. I'll go to the app called Manage Purchase Category. Let me find the app name. I don't have the exact name. So here, Manage Purchasing Category. So here, in this app, you are going to decide which suppliers are going to fall under which category. So I'll click on Create. It is taking time. We give the name, for example, like you batch team, who is responsible, and which all suppliers are going to be evaluated in this list. So I'll take some supplier IDs. So I'll take this, and this. 3 suppliers are sufficient as of now. Click on OK. So these suppliers will get added here. Okay. And if you want to add any material group, you can add those. If you want to add any language, you can add the language. So I'm saving it. Purchasing category is just creating or grouping the suppliers into one category. Okay. Then we have the second app, scoring and weightage. We already seen how to maintain the score and weightage, and directly move to the app called Manage Questions. So the next app is Manage Question. So this. So here I'll create some questions which I need to ask suppliers. So for example, I said, our suppliers are holding ISO certificate. Do they have any VAT registration? Okay, I'll delete all this better. Delete. Okay. Now I'll say we should start creating it. First thing, question. There are different types of questions in Manage Questions. First is a yes or no question. So if you want a straightforward answer from supplier, for example, do you have an ISO certified? Are you an ISO certified? You can directly answer that yes or no. In that case, you can create an yes or no question. So I click on yes or no. The question is, are you ISO certified? The answer will be directly yes or no. If you want to add any text, if you want to brief the question, you can brief the question. If you want the attachment to be attached, you can click on enable, optional, mandatory. If you set mandatory, we will not be able to submit the request until we attach the attachment. Okay, I keep it as optional. Comment from receipt. Do you want any comment to be added? So that can be maintained. Now, if he says yes, if he say answer yes, then the score will be 100. If you say no, the score will be directly 0. Or you want vice versa. If you say no, the score should be 100. If we say S, the score should be 0. So you can decide with business whichever score they need and they can save it. In the same way, you can create single answer question, multiple answer question, free text, single answer question. That's nothing but a multiple choice question. So I'll tell that in which country is head office maintained, established. Okay. If you want to explain the question, you can explain the question and you should give the answer here. So I give India. Sweden. Denmark. Okay. And one more country. I give it as Belgium. And I save this. And if you don't want this, I can delete this. Okay, and I save this. You have entered the answer scores. You have entered the answer scores of question in which country is head office established correctly. Okay, it says the question is wrong. So let me give none. Let's see. Okay, so this is how you need to create the questions. I created 2 questions, that is sufficient as of now. Then you have sections. If you want to create a section or if you want to create a group, you can create those because it will be easy to differentiate. For example, if you open a textbook, you will have the table content. So you will have section. Under this section, this chapter is coming. In the same way, we can set here and under this section, this question should come and fall. Or this is optional, this is not mandatory. I save this, I go back. Now the third app is grouping all these questions into a questionnaire. So I go to the app called questionnaire. In this questionnaire app, I'm going to group these questions. So I click on create. I say the name. I add the purchasing category, which is past 15. Questions, first I'll add section. I'll add the section, any one section is fine. I'll add this and add the questions. So I created 2 questions. I'll add those 2 questions. Or if you want to differentiate this into one section and this into one section, that is also fine. You can do that. Questions are added. Language, English is default language. I don't want to change. Now you have here target score and minimum score accepted. So for this, it's 100% for sure because it is just an yes or no question. Now here, the minimum score, target score, I'll give it as 70 or 75. Okay, and we'll save. Okay, the questionnaire has been created and I'll release this and save again. First thing, I created the purchasing category. I looped 3 suppliers there and I created the questions individually. And I came to the questionnaire app. I created the questionnaires and combined 2 questions into one questionnaire. Now the last app of the data creation is the manage template. So I'll go to the app called manage template. The app is this. appraisers are
Recording
nothing
in
but
progress.
some suppliers will have the SAP access and some suppliers will not have the SAP access. They'll be using the legacy system. If some suppliers are using legacy systems, then they will be sending the information through an email. When they're sending information through email, the person who is an appraiser should log in the system and enter the data manually. So who is that appraiser? So let me give some appraiser. Let me take this person as an appraiser. When I put this person as an appraiser, only this person will be able to see those suppliers in this list. Even I will not be able to see it. Okay, so I go to info@gmail.com. This is mandatory field, so I'm filling it. So who are the suppliers which we need to evaluate? So I go to the same suppliers. Okay. Questionnaires. So what questions do you need to ask the supplier? So I'll add the questionnaire directly here. You will find only one question. Why is it not released? I released it. Okay, I have it here. So select this. Okay. You want to see the questions? You can see the questions. You can open it from other and see the questions. Okay. Now I go to the evaluation assignment. Now I'm going to assign one person to these three suppliers. You can also add multiple persons for multiple suppliers. One supplier for one person. That is completely business decision. Communication is going to happen in English. I'll just put the template name and release it. Save and release. Saving it. While saving, if you have any error, if the data is not proper or inconsistency, system will throw an error. It's saved. I'll release this. As soon as I release, set start group-based evaluation will come. So if you want to evaluate a supplier for a particular time period, then you can go into this app. This is a different app, but you can route it directly from here itself. Here you can tell from what period to what period you want to evaluate. And you can also change the person if you need to evaluate everything in this app. The template is just the basic information what you're giving. From template, you can route this to the evaluation history and get this evaluated. So now I'm into the supplier evaluation request. Now I'm requesting the appraisers to evaluate the suppliers. So I go to basic data. I'm going to give from which date to which date I want to evaluate. From July 1st till date I want to evaluate. Questionnaires, you can check this is a questionnaires. These are the suppliers. He is an appraiser. These are assignment. You can still have an option to change if need. Okay. After filling everything, submit. I submitted. Now you have these three suppliers who need to be evaluated 111, 112, 114. To evaluate the supplier, we need to go to the app called Evaluate Suppliers. But if I go to Evaluate Suppliers, if I go to Evaluate Supplier app and put the filter this get open. Let me check if I have the access for this. If I don't have, I need to check for the access. Okay, I have the access. So I will put start date and end date. Start date was on this date, and end date was till 26, 27, if I'm not wrong. I click on go. I don't have anything because I am not the appraiser. The list of suppliers will come only under the ID of appraiser. So what I'll do, I'll log out from here. I'll log out from Fury and log in from that ID. Okay, I have signed out and I'll re-log in again with a different ID. I don't remember the password. Let me try. Meanwhile, any questions?
In S4 HANA, is it mandatory to prepare the questionnaires in Fiori?
Yes, it is. You don't have options to create in GUI. It should be done from Fury. I open the evaluate supplier from different ID. You can see the ID name here. It is this which I have given. And I click on go. I have these three coming. If I want to put in deadline, so I'll just put a deadline so that you will be able to see only those three suppliers. So I click on go. So these are the three suppliers: 111, 112, 114. Now this appraiser will go into this evaluation request and he will start answering the questions. So he'll go here. He will check from which period to which period it needs to be validated. Click on next. He will be able to find the questions and he would have been received the answers through an email. So are you ISO certified? We'll say yes. And you also have an attachment link here. If you want to attach anything, you can attach here. So issue. Storage category needs to be assigned. Okay. So there is a basis job where they have not assigned the storage. Whenever I'm attaching a attachment, that should go and flow into the storage category. So system is not able to find in which storage category this attachment should go and link. So that is the reason we are not able to attach it, but you can attach. You can also add a link if required. Okay, the link also should be configured in just as tight. Okay, so you can add the attachments here. And the second question is, in which country is the head office established? So he'll tell in Denmark, and he will submit. As soon as he answers and submit, the scores will be visible. So overall score is 75. So for this, he got 100. For this, he got 50. The average of 150 for 2 questions is 75. So he's getting a score of 75. In the same way, you can get these supplier also evaluated. So I'll click on next. So he'll tell no for this. He's not ISO certified. And his location is India. I'll submit. His overall score is 50. Then I'll go to the third supplier. And even he is not ISO certified. So I'll tell he's not ISO certified. And he has his head office in Belgium. So his score will be approximately 12 or something, 30. Okay, so this is how the supplier will get evaluated. And if you want to monitor the score, there is an app called Display Scorecard. You can open and see the scorecard, what supplier has got. You can also use the app Monitor Response, and you can monitor the score of the suppliers. Okay, if I click on Go, if you want to put suppliers, you can see here total score is 13, 50, and 75. And you also have an app called Monitor Response. So this will also look similar to the display scorecard here. Okay, status has been returned. You can open this and see the score. Now, if you want to see this in a graphical view, then you have an app called Supplier Evaluation by questionnaire somewhere here. Here, you can go to questionnaire, put a filter, on supplier, and you can see. So 111 supplier has got overall 71. 113 has got 12.5. So there might be a lot of supplier evaluation for these suppliers. But if you want to also categorize based on the purchasing category, you can do that. So you can see here, for this, it is a construction-based industry. If I open another supplier, so which was 111, for example, 111 was evaluated now. So I go here, I enter 111 based on purchasing category. And what is the category? Our category was by 15. So his score is 71. 75. In the same manner, if I open another supplier, add the filter, sorry, and remove this. So I'll take this supplier 112. I think I took 112 or 114. 114. For this supplier, we have only today. And if I see the score, it is 50. So you can also see the score in graphical view. If you want to segregate based on the purchasing category, or if you want to see through the document, you can see that. So this is how you can evaluate your suppliers based on the performance, based on the questionnaires, based on the criteria you set. Okay. So this is how supplier evaluation is going to work. And nowadays, all the business, all the customers are leaning to supplier evaluation and they are using supplier evaluation. So it is better to learn supplier evaluation, how are the criteria set and how the scoring are set and how the questionnaires are created. Okay, any questions? Okay, if no questions, then we covered MRP from level 1 and we covered supplier evaluation in level 2. So we are left with only 2 topics now in level 2, which is the GST and the FS documents. So we'll try to stretch today evening if possible and complete. Okay, batch management is not covered. Okay, batch management is one. So batch management, FS document, and GST. So these 3 are the topics which are left. We'll see what we can cover evening and cover. Mostly next week we need to take one more session to get these 3 sessions completed. Okay, and let me know if any other topic is left over so we can cover next week. Okay, any questions? I think batch management, I need to check. If it is not covered, we'll cover it. Okay, if no questions, then we'll wrap up here and we'll meet evening to discuss.